To keep up with new MicroStation features and instructional videos, click the subscribe button today.
Welcome to the partners, to Robert and Leonard, the presenters, to MicroStation Python and Python Assistant overview. And I'll hand over to Robert, who will introduce the speakers today and get the session started. Thanks, Robert.
You're welcome, Bill. And good morning, afternoon, and evening to everyone. Hope you will enjoy this session. Leonard Jones is a shining star within our Bentley developer network, and he is who I consider to be the subject matter on everything Python. He has started since day one of his, bringing himself in, being under the BDN umbrella as a person that wants to learn, grow, and accelerate everything Python. So we have made him the official subject matter expert. I, on the other hand, I also work for the Bentley Developer Network. I have many hats, like many of you probably have, during your working day, and I've been with Bentley quite a bit of time, and everything developer related. So I know today's audience is a mix of a variety of people. What I'd like to do is sort of set everybody with a little bit of comfort level. And the comfort level being is that we're going to try to present information, as you see, as simply as possible to manage all the complexities and allow each of you to learn and fault in any information you need as needed from this one session. You'll notice on the first screen here in the upper right, there's a QR code that's generated for it. So if you wanted to, it could be as simple as take a picture of the first screen and then come back to it when you want. This is a rather different training series or session, and the goal is to have everything as an interactive agenda. So every item that you see are touch points that we can use to train on, and also to click on and follow through if we need more information or need to show something online versus interactively. So think of it as a large instructor's checklist or a recipe on how we're going to actually learn these topics in hopefully the most easy manner possible. Okay, so actually starting with our session, it's often good to try to get some initial ideas and expectations. And MicroStation has added Python, and from that, we have to start thinking in people with the developer roles, how are we going to start to utilize these new technologies with the old technologies? What tools in our tool belt that we find and use all the time are we going to shuffle in and out? So MicroStation Python is a very new technology. And we're implementing Python itself, which is well over 10 years old now, and we're trying to make this technology available to you and to help address some of the things that you will need to do daily. So on the line of expectations, can we expect to learn Python in a day? That's a red X. We cannot do that. Can we learn MicroStation in a day? Similar. We can't learn MicroStation in a day. Can we learn MicroStation Python in a day? No. And the assistant, that too, we cannot learn in a single day. So, as I mentioned, this presentation should hopefully be your one spot. Hit that QR code at some later point when you're ready to go through the content. It'll take you to a page. I'm going to flip over to that. I'll try not to flip over to things too much, but you'll be brought to this page here. And that also has a QR code, so you can get back to it as well. And from this page, you'll see that there's information available in a very clear format on topics of getting started, Python editor, installation, etc. So what this session is trying to do, and this page, is to bring together a large variety of resources that we have available today and make them very convenient to find and access later. Another interesting point is that in only a day and a half, a completely separate project was going on. With one of our attendees on the call, Stuart Milne, and he put together a excellent MicroStation Python and Python Assistant Quick Start page and video. It's about 18 minutes long, and what we're going to do in this session is try to go approximately about 45 minutes, going over content and try to get you a comfort level that you can see, touch, and go back and learn as you need to. At the bottom of the page here, we do have the PowerPoint slides in PDF format, and we have a data set. The data set, one note too, is we were seeing with virus checking that we wanted to make sure that it can get down on your side. So we did password protect it, so that the password is sitting here once you click the download, and you can go ahead and same as the zip file password. So we'll try not to change that. If we have updates, we will push them there. And anything else as far as if MicroStation starts adding new features, all these subsequent links will be updated with information to give you, that comfort level that whatever you're looking at from this page will be kept current and accurate so that you can go through it later along with these slides. So given that long intro, let's try to make things simple. So, in keeping things simple, this presentation, we also have a very good MicroStation Getting Started page. If you use the product interface, you can also go to the Help About Python page, which is about the Python project. The Getting Started page and, is the one place. And then under the Getting Started page, we will be adding a link to this training, so it's high up, along with Stuart's introduction to MicroStation Python and the Assistant. So, all right. So in the session, it's geared towards trying to provide insights and information for your common questions, concerns, and needs, like the following: how do I get started? What is Python, and why is Python so popular? What is MicroStation Python, and what can it do? How is MicroStation Python implemented, and what kind of limitations can I expect? What is the Python Assistant? What resources are available? So that's what we're going to try to cover in here. If we try to boil that down to even simpler, subset of items, we're going to talk about MicroStation Python. What is that? That's simply MicroStation in the Python API language and development runtime. So when you install MicroStation, you actually get a full Python development environment with the product. So you can actually go ahead and use that version. That's sort of what we're going to gear today's session about, is to explore that a bit more and find out what version of Python does MicroStation use, and explore the interface and how we can interact with it. What limitations are there? And the latest feature addition to MicroStation 2025 is a Python Assistant. It's an AI chatbot. So we're going to talk about that a little bit too, so that you can sort of have that seeing and hands-on capability once you're done with the session. And then lastly here we have some MicroStation Python resources where you can do learning and everything else. Okay, so you sort of have to ask the question, like, who depends on Python as part of the, why is it popular? And in this slide, you can clearly see that there are several markets that, deal with Python, and there's some reasons why they deal with it off to the right. So I'm not going to go through each of these. We have a lot of material to go through, and you can always come back, look at things in more detail. So everything from standard game and desktop development into the security fields, data science and analytics, and financial field, along with education. It's probably a very good point to know that there's a lot of colleges out there that are actively training in Python on a daily basis. So your ability to have resources that can quickly code in Python would be a very beneficial factor too. Okay, so why is it so popular? Well, I'm going to just deviate away from our stuff for 1 second here and make it a pop-up for ads, but these are the IEEE's top 25 programming languages. There's 3 different views: Spectrum, Trending, and Jobs. So Spectrum is the combination of trending, looking at the languages as they're trending. Sorry about the pop-ups. And, the jobs. So, Python is ranked number 1 in jobs, number 1 in trending, and Spectrum. So even though Python has been out there for 10 plus years, and we're just putting in MicroStation today, what we are doing is we've got it so highly positioned at a point where you can start taking advantage of things even if you know nothing about Python. So let's go back to our training then. So let's give the brief read here, and that is, why is it so popular? Python is popular because it's easy to read and write, making it highly accessible for beginners and still powerful enough for professionals and developers. Its vast ecosystem of libraries and frameworks, and think of these as the way you extend Python to do more stuff, like if you needed to do data analytics or any other number of libraries of functionality. It's highly extensible. It supports everything from web development, data science, automation, and AI, which makes it most versatile across all the industries we looked at on the previous slide. So these are some of the top top libraries that the developers use with Python. So it's not saying that each of these need to be used by you. But just know that there's a handy reference in the year 2025 here on the top libraries and a brief description. So I highlighted everything just so you can read through these quickly. NumPy, efficient numerical computations, SciPy, advanced science and engineering tools, and so on and so forth. Pandas is one that we will be using, and that provides us data manipulation, and we also use Qt, which isn't listed here, which will help us do dialogues as well. But Qt is available already for you in MicroStation. So let's go ahead and move off of the topic of Python and start moving on to MicroStation Python. So as I mentioned, this is an interactive agenda. And I guess one quick note before we go further, because it's just going to be a lot of me talking here initially, and we'll take some, just want to let you know, we'll take questions in the chat. Leonard and possibly Stuart may reply to those, so we'll try to address a number of those while we're going through the presentation. And lastly, we'll open up at least the last 10 minutes of the call so that everybody has a chance, to ask anything interactively if they feel they would like to. Okay, so MicroStation Python, this interactive guide. So I'm only going to show this on this one page here, but everything is hyperlinked from this PDFs and PowerPoint slides. So that way you can go to these points here. The About MicroStation Python page is actually the very product page that comes through here. So, when you go to the Help About Python in MicroStation, you're brought to this page. From this page, we will make sure that these links are always kept up to date. You can see here, we are trying to make sure that we're tracking new features by just using a simple format of saying a new feature of a certain version. So then that way that if you want to do things with Python, you can do in 2025 of MicroStation, but not 2024. So it will be important to have tags like these as time goes on and allow you to understand which target audience you're going to be working with or it applies. Okay, so as mentioned, every single of the hyperlinks that you see here will take you to either a wiki page, like if you need, this will be one of the things we need to talk about, and that is installing. So let's just take a moment there and take a look at this. So the on installing Python, in today's world, we have to manage the convenience, complexity, and security aspects of a lot of the things that we work with. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to have a product that cannot be started up by our users because a security scan came along and said that, hey, we don't trust, this feature or aspect of your product, and then, see that complete product not be at use. So from the very beginning, we pulled for putting MicroStation Python in as a feature, and made it so that you could either choose to have Python installed or not installed. We're also in this session going to talk about Python and its limitations. While we're at this point here, if you do choose to install Python, it's a full version of Python. We'll see that in a moment, and you can actually go about changing Python, the engine itself, if absolutely necessary. It's not something we want to highly promote, but our developers say as long as you keep it within the same version, like 3.12, things should work as long as you have what's known as required libraries. We'll talk about that in a future slide, but just as a touch point. And think of those hyperlinks on those PowerPoint slides as touch points and a checklist. So, so in the installation here, you can either choose, which it's on by default, to install Python, or you can uncheck it if your IT team will not permit Python versions that it has not directly approved. Petition to try to get it approved by your IT team. Bentley does a very good job on making sure security issues are addressed. I know I work with the development team on several vendors and their security updates, and we have a great working relationship even with Autodesk, where we both proactively report issues on either side's libraries. As we catch anything in the security scans, we let each other know, and we make sure that we can both have products out there so that everybody can get their jobs done safely, securely, and all the options available. Okay, so MicroStation Python, you under the install, we do have a key-in MicroStation, and there's a Python query version. I'm not going to click through these. I'm going to use these slides as touch points so we can interactively take a look at some of this stuff now. So let's go ahead and apologize for the mess here. Let me get my MicroStation up here. Okay, and I had that up. All right, so normally in MicroStation, you start on a home tab and you have these, standard layout of the ribbon. I'd like to draw your attention to one area that we use fairly often, and that's a key-in window, where we can actually execute key-ins like you're seeing presented in this slide. So if we were to do the MicroStation key-in as typed Python query version, we can see that double-click that and run. It brings up a quick flash of a window, but then down at the bottom, let me draw your attention to the message center. If you click on that, it brings us up, and then you can hopefully see that the current working version of Python is 3.12.5. So, we can know with confidence that the version of everything we can do is up to that version. I'm going to draw your attention back to the slide, and I said I'm not going to click on every one of these, but I do want to bring up one very large and helpful resource, and that is the MicroStation Python documentation online, and it lists the version of 3.12 of Python. So what you can do is you can actually go to the online documentation known as the MicroStation Python API, and click through to these links. There's excellent resources up here to also introduce you to the Python APIs and some other things here. So there is a quick start page, which is how to see, feel, and touch Python. There are guides here that you can go through. The API versions page, which we were previously on, tells you the Python version. I did mention earlier that if you were to use a different version of Python, you would have certain libraries that you would have to make sure are present, and those are conveniently listed right here. So those are available as touch points from within the PowerPoint session at the right points when you need them to. So just remember, you may need to put libraries in. It goes through a number of topics, like recording macros, debugging Python applications, and some of these articles up here do have videos with them. And I guess lastly, you can go through each of these topics. If you're going to use Python with Visual Studio, there's a excellent article also linked in the PowerPoint slides that are related to how to set up Visual Studio Code. We also have a wiki page, which takes it a little further than this. So if you're using two environments, this is mentioning 2024. Our wiki is updated to show 2024 and 2025. Also, there is a missing comma here that I see. That was originally on our wiki page, but that's been updated on our wiki page, and this will need an update as well. All right. API presentations. This is actually a very nice page, even though it may not sound that interesting. This is actually a API training page. So if we were to click overview, this will take us to a sequence of slides and sometimes even video content on those topics. So these are some materials that we put together for the MDL programming language, which is comprised of C++ and C. These were cleaned up by the development team so that some of the C++ and C syntax that were not applicable to Python were removed and updated with terminology accordingly. So what is Python? MicroStation Python. It is a thin wrapper around the Python APIs. MicroStation Python is Python plus thin wrappers around the MicroStation C++ and C APIs. So those we'll get into that a little later, but that's why I'm making mention of it at this point when you have the slides available. Python by itself is very easy to learn. MicroStation Python has a lot more that you can do with it. And as a wrapper around C++, some terminology may initially present a little bit of challenge, but a lot of it can be clearly explained out here, and some of the tutorials and guides that we are going to talk about or have referenced in our sessions here. So we saw here that we can key in the Python version, and we can also take a look at how it's documented, get to those official libraries. And so MicroStation Installer provides a complete official Python, the development areas and runtime. So please note that these are 3 separate links. They go directly to Python.org, so you can learn about Python. You can learn about being a Python developer, and you can see what the latest runtimes are. So even though we're on 3.12, which was about a year ago, 3.14 is the current one if you were to run on the latest today. Out here you can also identify what some of the practical differences are between those versions if you choose, you have a need to. Right, so let me close that out and that. Okay.
Hey, Robert.
Right. Yes.
Hey, there's a very important question in the chat from Donald. Maybe one of the team wants to answer that. It's does the user need BDN subscription to use MicroStation Python?
Okay, I can answer that.
Sure.
Hopefully rather cleanly.
Yeah.
So one thing that we don't talk about in this session is the MicroStation developer shell. And I am a person that highly contributes to pretty much all the updates to the MicroStation developer shell and a lot of the improvements to it. So In here, we can go ahead and type in, BDN support. And from BDN support, we have a page on how to get to the BDN and to contact us. And I guess the simple answer is that for any of the SDKs that Bentley offers for desktop products, you do require a BDN subscription, but there is a difference between APIs and SDKs. So if Bentley provides an API, and API is a programming language and application programming interface, just think of it as either a native DLL library potentially, or multiple of them, or it may also be something like .NET assemblies. And in the case of Python, you can do py files, pyc files. All of that is provided with the product. So with MicroStation Python, you do not require BDN membership. However, if you do plan on extending Python further, you may need the MicroStation developer environment known as the MicroStation SDK. And you can request that through the BDN, through those links that I provided here. I'll put that in the chat. And lastly is that
So you're saying, Robert, to begin using Python, let's say literally as an application user of MicroStation, you do not need BDN developer membership. You can just go and use the facility that's inbuilt in MicroStation.
Absolutely.
Okay,
and,
perfect.
Yep. And just one other point that often comes up as a touch point, and that is there's two. We try to work in two levels of BDN. You have a BDN select, which is actually select N365 accounts, and that is free for any BDN select or E365 user in good standing. All you have to do is reach out to BDN and request access to one of these SDKs that require BDN membership. Whenever you have a need to do so. The other aspect of this is that we work with a lot of third-party developers that have their own software companies and offerings, and they do sell their software. So if you get to a point where you develop things that you would like to sell to a larger market, do reach out to the BDN and request either the E365 for the free part, where there are no additional costs, or when you plan on selling, we have a BDN commercial plan. And I guess lastly, we do have BDN service partners, and these are third-party developers that have worked closely with the Bentley Developer Network and are registered providers of services, whether that and software. So these third-party service partners may be able to help, for instance, if you need to migrate your code from an old version of MicroStation to a newer one, and also other vertical products. So again, reach out to the BDN if you have any questions for migrating old code to new, and we're sure to be able to try to help set you up.
Yep. Thanks, Robert. Brilliant.
Okay. Going back here. All right. So again, these are all click through. When you install MicroStation, what gets installed is a folder called MicroStation Power Platform. That's in the location of your program data, Bentley Power Platform, both clickable. And then you have let's take a look at it. Let's do this part of the exploration. Click. Come on. Is it going to fight me? Ready? Well, we'll go directly there. Okay, I'm going to go up one level. So that should take you to the program data Power Platform folder. So after you've installed Python feature, what you get is this folder out here, and you see that there are two simple things at this level. and that is that we have a Python installation, the version that we had shown you from the key-in, which is version 3.12. And you'll see that this is a full version. If we do a quick statistics on it, I think it's rather, my right click sometimes is a little sticky. We can see here that you're talking about a 400 megabyte runtime, and approximately 15,000 files included in this distribution. So compatibility wise, whenever you're dealing with MicroStation Python, you can have that firm assurance that anything you can do in Python, you can do within MicroStation Python for the version that you're working with. So that should hopefully be some peace of mind for the software developers on the call. Okay, so besides Python, we also provide examples. And you can have different folder levels out here of your own if you choose to. It's program data. And you can see that things are neatly categorized. Hopefully that comes through clear enough. 3D modeling, changing colors, COM, data, databases, working with elements, models, etc. So you can navigate out here in Windows File Explorer. However, let's actually bring up the product and start taking a look at the interface and take a look at things very soon here. So configuration variables. I know I said I wasn't going to click through too much, but I wanted to show you that we do link to the configuration variables directly to MicroStation Python. You have a MS Python root folder. If you were to swap a different version, this is the only variable that you need to be concerned about. You need to point to where that root Python folder is located. For the alternate version, you need to make sure those API libraries are loaded. Okay, we'll try to move along quickly since there's a lot more to go through. So there are remaining ones here where you can find samples and scripts, etc. So please know, just click through on any of these topics that we may go over rather quickly. And also on a very similar note are the Python key-ins, which are actually right above there. And you see that there's Python load, query version, status, and unload. There are some additional keywords that we'll show you in a second. Okay, so let's take a look at MicroStation again. I need to stop doing that and go down here. Okay, so in MicroStation, as I mentioned, you can go to the Home tab and open your key-in browser. So you can do those key-ins from that slide, or the way that most people will interface with Python will be to go to the utilities here. One other thing to help you with finding things in MicroStation, a complex product, there is a search ribbon up top here. And in the search ribbon, you could type something like Python. And you would see that, hey, there's a Python editor I can bring up, and it tells you to it shows you multiple navigation paths on how you can get there. So if you're in the drawing tab or drawing workflow, you can then use utilities, macros in general, and modeling, and so on. So just know that there's a friendly search tool up here. You don't need to feel like you have to. You can essentially find everything that you need in the interface from this point here. Okay, so on the Utilities tab, let me draw your attention to this macros group. Inside the macros group, we have a VBA manager, a Python editor, and we have the ability to interact with what are known as macros. So you can play macros that are within the list here. You can record new macros. So let's say you're trying to figure out how to accomplish something. Let's say you placed a certain widget in MicroStation and you weren't sure which commands you were clicking through, and you wanted to, play back that widget over and over and over again, for different drawings. Well, you can record that, and then it'll create a script for it. And then there's three layers of that. There's a MBR, which is a basic macro recording file, which is a text file that you can choose to use. You can use a VBA editor. This is our previous, well-established technology like Python in the past, but Microsoft has tried to stop supporting this. However, we're going to keep supporting it till the end of days. We get security updates every year from Microsoft, and pass those along to development as soon as they come in. And we have the Python editor. So let's take a look at Python now. So Python editor is actually a dialog that has essentially three parts to it. And you can see that the application group icons are associated with each, or a hyperlink on the last one here. So let's go over this as for touch and feel. So right here we can create a new Python, they call it project, which is actually a new py file on your system. So you can add folders under here, like this is a local folder I have where I do some testing. And I just have a few random macros here. You can add new folders and bring those in and conveniently get to your macros no matter where they're at on your machine. These are the delivered examples, and like I said, you can go out to File Explorer, but this I think is extremely convenient. It allows you just to quickly navigate here and be able to explore what's available. And we do have quite a few Python py files delivered in that examples folder that we provide with MicroStation. But you also have the ability to search up here. So let's say you were doing something related to lines in MicroStation. So you can see that here is a COM example to place line. We have a draw B-spline, so that's partial word search. Drawing line. So this might be, if I double click on this, and from this tree, always get into the pattern of double clicking, because just single clicks may not have the correct context set and may fool you as as one of those gotchas. So always double click if you're going to change between files to make sure that the focus and the code window align here. So, like I said, you can search for a lot of stuff that you need to do. So maybe you need to draw a line, and you can do so here. So, again, there's a lot of stuff we provide. You can easily search for it right here, or you can navigate it interactively. So besides creating new ones, you can open a new file from a .py file from a disk. And it can be available for you in the editor in the middle. And you can also choose to open a folder. So if you have a whole folder of macros, like this standards macro folder that we go to, you could then navigate and add additional folders so that they appear in the list here, like this macros that I showed you. You also have a folder delete here, which is not highlighted. And the reason it's not highlighted is because you don't have a folder highlighted to delete. So some of these things will, their context becomes available once you have set the context correctly in each of the panes. So just be aware of that. Whenever you do make changes to macros, you can, if you like, hit Control S. Most of the time you're going to see this save disk icon disabled, because it does a great job of saving changes, especially if you were to go a couple more over here and actually try to run your Python script, or you can run it from up here in the top. Okay, the next button here, there's a save as, and then we have this next button, which is probably most effective too, and that is to be able to set editors. There is again, if I do it's not showing up there. You have a Python editor, which is what we see in the middle here. You can also link to Visual Studio Code. You can do Notepad if you want to use a extremely simple editor, or you can browse and add your own custom editor. So on the custom editors here, I'd like to say that you can use your favorite code editor, put it here, and then it'll be listed. However, at this point in time, if you add a new item to this list, we don't have a way for you to easily remove that. So just be aware of that. So if you're testing editors, only go here if you're really committed to that editor, and then you can add it for your convenience right here, so that you can quickly jump over to that and do your code editing in there versus editing in the editor. More straightforward icons are copy paste and deleting of things that you may have highlighted. So like, again, if I highlight something in here, more of these light up. All right, and so this is a standard text editor, does color coding, and very helpful. Over here in MicroStation 2025, we have a new icon, which is the Python Assistant. So in the Python Assistant, we can go ahead and start to use the power of AI in things that we do. So in here, we see when we're on this Python Assistant, we have a couple things. We have a new chat, which sort of refreshes and gives you a nice clean screen here. So if you already had an ongoing, chat, then you don't worry about that. It's saved, but you can always hit new chat, so you can start a new topic and start doing, new work on that specific area that you're trying to query against. So you have a current chat tab, you have a chat history, and you have custom instructions. So let's go over those quickly. And in the current chat, right down here at the bottom, you can ask your assistant something. You also have the ability to attach a file. And in attaching files, you give additional context, to the search agent that we use in MicroStation for Python. So it sort of think of AI as being local learning model with AI agents with specific purposes. So when we talk about MicroStation Python, there is a MicroStation Python agent within the large learning model that we draw in and update occasionally. And so you may have other areas of expertise being added to MicroStation Python besides MicroStation Python itself, which says we know where the examples are, we know the documentation, we can provide you very intelligent and useful answers and code from this window. And there, as we add more to, the learning models, separate agents, it'll transparently become available and present right here. So you can do things like ask it to draw you a line. You can have it draw a solar system, as one of the examples has in the PowerPoint slide. Okay, chat history tab. So these, here's the one that I was talking about. Create a solar system. So this is a conversation I had with it. I believe I asked it twice, and then it actually, got to a point where I was happy with it and dropped off it. But you can see from the chat history, I can then jump to previous conversations, and every time we ask a question here, it's going to use this as a constraint, saying that, oh, well, you must be talking about, this topic, or the solar system in this case. So this shows you by grouping 7 days, months, etc. There's a location in the PowerPoint slides. You can jump to that and see exactly where these sessions are stored, so that if you needed to, you can go ahead and clean some stuff out where you might not be able to, where you want to do it manually at the file system versus here. So some of these items here, if you fly over them, you get options. You can pin it. So if you feel that you use that quite often and always want it to show up, and maybe it you do a lot of chatting, it'll always be pinned at the top of the listing for whatever group you're in here. You can also delete a particular conversation if you feel it was a waste of time and you don't want to return back to that topic. So consider making topic conversations. And like if I'm working with MicroStation and creating Excel spreadsheets, I may say in Excel create some type of table. And then I would go back and search. There's a search up here too, where we could, I don't know if I did anything with Excel, but no, I didn't. it has something for examples, so you can see how it starts to filter the topics, and you can jump back, to potentially the one that you want. And custom instructions. So similar to your chat histories, custom instructions, will allow you to further fine-tune the results that Python is providing you. Sort of think of this as your requirements field or things that if you want something to happen all the time. So like this test one that I created is always provide references. So if I can either enable or disable this. So on that first tab when we chat, it will apply one of potentially many rules that you build up in how you want to see your responses from the engine provided. You may say always provide a code example, and you could create a rule there and say that, but by default it does, so that wouldn't be helpful. So what I decide to do here, if you hit the options here, you can edit and delete, and we can say always provide references, and hopefully that's straightforward. And this is how I prompted it. I said, please provide all online or local references as hyperlinks, so that way when it spits out results, any references that it's doing, I can conveniently click through things. So there's a lot of stuff you can do there, but let's go ahead and hit back the slides real quick, because that's the three things here. In the editor, we have the project management, we have the code editing, and then we have the AI assistant. And if you choose not to see the AI assistant, this is a toggle button, so that can toggle that on or off for you. And I should also point out, this is where your help is, where I initially talked about and said, if we hit the help, that will go ahead and bring up the online documentation for the help. If we go to the API documentation, that takes you out here to the pages we were talking about earlier. And lastly, we have the Bentley communities, where if you need to reach out, with respect to MicroStation Python, this is the project homepage. We already had that up talking about new features. And as mentioned, you can find the Getting Started materials here. And, I'm actually going to bubble that to the top here so that it's actually the first link that you can get to. And that Getting Started page will then also have a link to this session, and also the one that Stuart had created just the other day. The last thing I want to say, because there are so many things and so many topics that we could be continuing to move forward with, the one thing that I want to say is that we do have a brand new example in the data set called Hello World. And so under the dataset folder, you will see some snippets which are useful for MicroStation Python and Visual Studio Code. So in Visual Studio Code, you can start typing MSPY and then a whole list of every one of these shortcuts and code samples are right at your fingertips for doing things. We even created stuff for these exercises here, which we don't have time to cover today, which is exercise 1 through 6. And you will see that mirrors Hello World, where each of these folders incrementally build up a more complex but expected Hello World for MicroStation and Python. So I'll give the quick sample of you start off with essentially the previous example, which in this case was nothing. So you have an empty file. And then in here you have a solution. So after you completed the steps in the instructions document, you should have code that identically mirrors this. So given that each initial one is a place to start and to go through the instructions, each of these exercises builds on top of each other. So that way you know that example 2 starts where example 1 dropped off, example 3 drops off on 2. So you're going to see a very incremental pattern on how to accomplish things. As I mentioned, we don't have a lot of time. I want to open it for a few questions very, very soon. And what I'll do is I'll just bring up this hello, so we can actually add a folder to Python. So let me shift and right click. I'm going to copy the path of that. And then I'm going to add a folder here, and I'll paste that path in. And now we have all the examples added. So now we don't have to go out to Explorer, and we can go to each of these. Like I said, I'm going to, for the sake of time, I'm going to jump in here, and we're going to go ahead and hit the solution, which normally if you were doing the instructions, you'd want to start here. And then this would be your final result. So if I double click this guy, make sure I didn't blink. Okay. And this is the more complex hello world that we're putting together. So in here with the focus set, you can then go ahead and hit run, or you can access run through the menu up here, and key ends as well. So I'm going to go ahead and run this, and hopefully everything just works. There we go. So of course, we can start off with exercise 1, which just prints hello world out to a standard window, or to a standard text stream, like every application in the world does. But this is a more helpful hello world. And what this does is it provides XY coordinates and a height, so that you can actually play with things. So if we go ahead and hit place a 3D shape, it goes ahead, you can sort of see in the background that it created a 3D shape. And go back to my Python dialog. This is one of the challenges. So let's see. Let me go back. I'll go ahead and run that again. See if I can get that dialog to come up. Or I can go down here. This is probably the best way, is go down to your taskbar and then bring the dialog back up. And of course, Microsoft doesn't like when I do things that it should be normal operations. Yeah. Anyway, you can hit the second button on there, and bring up. There it is. Let me draw that off to the side. There we go. Okay, and then the second part of that is to go ahead and hit the text. So, all right, like I said, there's a lot more you can click through on these slides. So let's go ahead and possibly end it here. Open things up for questions.
Cool. Thanks, Robert. And we were just saying in the chat, we don't mind at all running over by 5 or 10 minutes if there's questions, because we'll just keep recording, right? And I know some of your team might have a hard stop, but let's go for it. Yeah.
Well, let's go at least through the slides themselves and the topics. We may not be able to do every single one of them, but at least you know that they're highly reproducible. So
perfect.
After the MicroStation Python slide, we then go ahead and make mention of all the Python API documentation online. How to set up Python IntelliSense for Visual Studio Code. At some point, you may convention I use in these slides too, and it's explained well. Anything with red related are items that should be mentioned, but not necessarily done interactively in a training session. So these are considered to be more advanced topics like debugging applications.
Robert, actually, can I just mention, you're literally answering the question that was most recently posed by Desti, who says, I'm a new user of Python, but I'm a new user of Python, but I'm interested to use it. What should I do as a first step? So I think you've literally, on these links, right, this is like a guide to getting started and more.
Absolutely. When I put these slides together, I wanted to make sure that I erased my brain of everything I know related to programming in Python. And I want to make this as friendly and sequential as you would have to be as a new user to sort of, start seeing, interacting, and touching. And as I mentioned earlier, faulting in, which means, learning on demand. So that way, just go through these page by page, and you'll see that you're touching on all areas that you will have to do in your normal and everything you would need to do as an experienced developer. To work your way up with, okay, I've never heard of Bentley. I want to learn, I'm being told I need to do MicroStation Python now. I want a getting started guide that works for users
Cool.
and admins and developers alike. So yeah, just go through these. Getting started is our first page, which has plenty of online great resources Leonard's put together. Or you can go through these topics, which link to those, or directly in the API docs at that separate site. So this should be hopefully your one guide and give you a comfort level. Fault in things, things that are red are things that should be mentioned, like debugging applications. You can jump to it if you have the time, or the topic presents itself. However, like down here, after we talk about MicroStation version support and the libraries, which we touched on earlier, we see that there's plenty more things on that API documentation site, like your question in the chat, developing Python applications. How do I get started with actually creating, applications from a development guide versus, the support wikis? And all these other ones are extremely helpful too. So this next one, this slide here essentially covers, the MicroStation Python API links. The next sequences, the session would be related to the Python editor, which we did interactively. And I sort of went over the project manager, each of these touch points that we talked about, selecting and adding a new editor in the drop-down list, convenient links for you to jump in on, each of these things if you had to do it. How do you open a new folder? Well, that's linked there. How do you do key-ins, and what are those key-ins? So one of the key-ins we didn't talk about in depth at all is one that you will want to do as a MicroStation user or developer, just trying things out. You may not want to have to hit run macro, and you may want to provide arguments to a Python script. Arguments being things like my hello world as an argument. So you could type in MicroStation Python load full path and file name of your py file or the pyc file. What is a pyc file? You click on the link. It's a compiled Python file, but we talk about in our documentation. And touch point on there too is that the Python compiled applications run quicker because they don't have to go through that one translation step from text to a interpreted language, which is a pyc file. And the interpreted file is sort of like bytecode Java that's precompiled and optimized to load and run quickly without any of the validation that normally has to be performed along with the loading of all the source code. So very good things to explore through here. One other thing on the slide that I didn't mention in there was the BMRs. You can promote BMR files from macros to Python. I don't think that's going to be a highly used or exercised feature. It is there. So like if you record a macro, maybe in a different language like VBA, and then you want to convert that VBA macro to Python, this will make an attempt, but these types of translations are usually, minimal at best. So I don't highly recommend these, but they are there if you need something to get started. They definitely are helpful in that sense. There's more on the editor, talking about the editor part. We talked about the Python toggle and the Python help, the 3 different online locations. I just conveniently put there for you. A tour of the Python examples we did. We talked about the examples folder, how to load a Python or a PYC. We added the dataset folder, hello MSPy. We did the running, the run examples is part of an exercise later, which we would then go about and try to take some of the delivered Python examples at the location of DGNL. Oops, I got it. Sorry, I hit the wrong key there. I was trying to highlight that, but DGN elements folder, and then under that there's Arc example, AI chatbot. You could have samples, and there's online samples too. available that we have that you can go through and learn how to do prompt engineering properly within MicroStation. So we got plenty of really good links there. We did the choose editor, assistant, new chats. We talked about that. Prompt samples for use in the Python assistant. This is the one that if you were to say more examples in the Python assistant. So if you see here, it says see all prompts. If you were to click that in the AI chatbot, it would take you to this page. And from here, you can learn how to, some of the standard prompts, but I think we will also add a link here onto our prompt engineering so that way these items will tie together nicely then. Okay, and chat history, we went over all this stuff. One thing I will point out, I did say that there are locations. Chat history, the location for it, where it's installed, you can click through this. Well, unfortunately, it's got my link in there, so it will not work the way I had intended it. However, on your machine, just copy and paste that into your Internet Explorer browser. It'll take you to the chat history sessions folder, or copy and paste this one here to the Copilot folder, which is actually above sessions. And then you'll also find a custom instructions JSON. So when you start doing things like telling it to always provide references as a rule, you can have your rules and take those with you from one release to another. Sorry. At this point here, we would go through the exercises incrementally and show you how they worked. Again, those are somewhat highly reproducible, so I think that we'll leave that as an exercise to the user. And we also have here the question of what next. So stay tuned, because there's certainly a lot more to come. In today's MicroStation OpenX Power Platform Python, it is definitely bound to grow rapidly in purpose, functionality, and use for the coming years. So just as much as other programming languages in MicroStation, they initially, may not be known or heard of. This one is going to grow extremely well, like the previous APIs that Bentley has invested time to make available to our third-party developers. So what's going to help drive that growth and popularity? Well, we didn't talk about it, but MicroStation Python does have components of it that are open sourced out here in GitHub. And from that, we can see that probably, the Python examples are a primary area. We're talking about Python wrappers being wrappers over the C API. I'm sorry, C++ API. And other things related out here. So if you actually were to click through in that level of detail, you can then see that you can then start using the MicroStation SDK with its prerequisites, and then go through the following steps so that you can actually start to integrate GitHub, the Git project for MicroStation Python, within your MicroStation development shell, and start to do all your contributions, searches, etc. Out here and local as well. Geospatial agent. There is a help topic available today that talks about the geospatial context script examples. So those are some additional examples. Those will also be growing. I am certain of that. And they talk about some of the ones available today. Obviously, these pages will be updated as new features and items come along, but other verticals are coming. So there's a lot of growth, beyond this point in time, and we really hope that today's session is a very good place for getting started. Hopefully subtle, but obvious on every slide. We do have the QR code so that you can jump back to this session, get to it from your mobile phone or anywhere you need to, and each of those links clickable, so you can go ahead and start reaching out to some of these things. As I mentioned, Leonard and myself are part of the Bentley Developer Network. We're also part of the parent group of the ecosystems and ventures within Bentley. And, Leonard and myself help developers on a daily basis. We're out on our communities and trying to help third-party developers. Our MicroStation programming forum is the place to go for anything MicroStation Python related. So if you have questions related to MicroStation Python, go to the MicroStation programming forum. We always ask that you search and ask questions. So, just like any of you would, like to make sure that you have very well-formed questions asked from your colleagues, do a search and then ask your questions out there. The search is very helpful, works today, and helps you find content that you need. And if you need to access and download Bentley SDKs, the BDN is part of that. Use the Contact Us button from this link. And, if you need to find out more about BDN support, you can do so there. And then I guess we're sort of tailing off with, our standard, connecting with Bentley, how to keep current as a developer. Obviously, bentley.com, developer.bentley.com, and our developers and programming page. I probably should show that super quick. This is our landing zone where you can get access to each of our common and vertical developer forums. This is the common forum area, developers and programming. If you have civil, geospatial, MicroStation, ProjectWise, open building, these are your quick entry tiles for the development aspects for your questions. So when we say search and ask, come out here, click one of the tiles and put that in the meeting chat, I guess. That's also a highly effective one as well. And so if we go to MicroStation programming, I have some additional tiles here. MicroStation Python, that single click away gets you to the page where you have all these great resources that Leonard, Stuart, Brendan, Roche, myself, we've all put together a lot of time and materials that should hopefully bring information close together for you to find. And again, hopefully this presentation today brings all these various locations and everything into a common spot you can interact with later. Lastly, besides each of these being linked to their appropriate places for programming or MicroStation content, we also have Medium as well, which were a few years stale, but they are very good articles up there. Okay. I will stop there.
Thank you for watching. Follow the channel to keep up with MicroStation.